been with Mr. Shittlebob. Despite his angry tones, he's got an absolutely valid point. There's no excuse for you not to email in or contact us in some way to give us some feedback and help this guy out. He's not in a good place. If you want his broadcast to continue, get in touch, please.
Thanks for that, Nathaniel.
You're welcome.
I'm done. To be honest, I can't think of anything else to say. So why don't you tell us about your week, if you would?
All right, I will do. You're happy to listen, are you?
I'll listen. I won't interject.
Well,
I'm going to try not to interject. That's all I can promise. I'll try not to interject.
You seem to have perked up already, Richard.
Go on.
Well, I feel like I'm walking around with a permanent erection. With a beaming smile to accompany that. And this is where my reference to my strange accent to open the broadcast with.
Vaguely illegal accent.
Vaguely illegal?
Yeah.
I don't know how you worked that out, but I'm not going to get involved in that discussion. It was a little bit of homage to the latest lady in my life.
Oh.
You know, I talked about the visiting the temples as part of my weekly activities.
There was Sikhs, wasn't it, you went to last week?
No, it wasn't the Sikhs. The Sikhs was this week. It was Hindus last week.
All right.
All the same, I suppose, to you, aren't they? But anyway, again, that's another discussion. All these brown faces.
It's just garam masala, isn't it?
They just daub themselves, that's all they do. But anyway, back to the point. I went to a Sikh temple this week, Richard, which I should be expanding on later.
Right.
A young lady called Anushka. So, how are you, Anushka? I'm thinking about you, sweetheart.
That's a Kate Bush song, isn't it?
No, I think that's Babushka.
Oh, Babushka, okay, yeah, go on.
Highly different, which you when you were just trying to be contrived about. I think I've dropped on my feet here, Richard, I really do. She's just stunningly beautiful. She's slim and she's lithe and she smells of exotic. And she's au naturel. It's like going down on the inside of a large cushion. Black, abundant and feathery.
Oof.
Oh, you obviously approve.
Oh, I like that.
You're good, I'm glad.
I like that, Nathaniel. That's a beautiful description. I mean, I presume you're talking about a vagina then.
Of course, yes.
Right, good,
so,
good.
And no, she won't mind, you know, she's a liberal lass. And, I've explained that I'll be divulging certain details about it online, and she was fine with that. So, thanks again, Nushi, for the wonderful experiences you've already given me.
What's her name?
Anushka.
And what did you just call her then? Rushi?
Nushi.
Oh, Nushi. Okay. I thought it was some kind of homage to Liverpool Football Club circa 1987.
No, not Rushi, no.
Okay.
I couldn't imagine doing to Rushi what I did to Nushi.
Oh.
Despite my proclivities.
Yes.
We've got so much in common, Richard, you know. Our pillar talk is just, you know, it's about things about the life and times of Gandhi and about the spiritual roots of India. She just might be the one, you know.
How old is she?
She's in her mid-20s. I don't know her exact age, I'm just guessing now. I haven't asked her her age yet. It's not been even important.
But you're aware, aren't you, that, you know what happens to Indian women, don't you, when they get to about 35?
I don't. Enlighten me.
Well, we've all seen it.
Have we? What have we seen?
Beautiful looking women. Then they hit 35, maybe 38. Suddenly they're hunched over. They're covered in hair.
Well, I think
not a pretty sight. Not a pretty sight. I'm just warning you.
Well, thanks for the warning. I'm sure you've got the good intentions at heart. No, she looks after herself. You know, she keeps herself trim. She exercises daily. She eats the right thing. She fills her mind with positive thoughts. Hope that affliction doesn't happen to her. I have to say, even if it did, I still think I'd be with her.
See, if I say the words to you, Mother Teresa.
Yes.
You've got that image in your head, right?
I have.
You can see her. She was only 37.
She wasn't Indian, was she?
She was Indian.
Oh, was
she? She was 37.
Well, good grief, how about that? Well, you should just show us what can happen. You know, if you indulge in the wrong faith.
Weather-beaten faces.
Yes. Well, let's hope that your generalisation, gross generalisation, doesn't apply in this instance.
Oh, I certainly hope not.
Let's hope she keeps herself.
You'd soon kick her into touch, wouldn't you?
No, I wouldn't. I've just said opposite to that. You know, I'm the loyal type when I find the right one, and Okay, it's early days, don't want to rush into anything, but she certainly feels like the one, Richard, I have to say.
Are you telling me, you're describing this kind of angelic, perfect woman,
Yes.
currently, if she became a grotesque, you can barely bring yourself to look at her, you're telling me you'd stick with her?
Well, I don't know. That's a hypothetical question, and it's hard to put myself in that position without it actually happening. I like to think I would stick with her, Richard. That's all I can say.
Okay. Yeah.
You know, there's a lot more. She's got a beauty, and there's no doubt about that. But she's got the inner beauty as well. She's got the lot.
What was this Sikh temple like?
Yeah, I went to it this week. Visited the Gurdwara this week.
The Gurdwara?
The Gurdwara, yeah.
Okay. What was it like?
It was fantastic. Absolutely. It's probably the best experience I've had so far, and I enjoyed the Hindu temple last week.
But surely it was exactly the same, wasn't it?
It wasn't. No, it was different. I'll explain if you let allow.
Go on.
I had to don a turban, Richard,
Mm-hmm.
as is custom in the world of the Sikh.
I've seen them. I've seen them around.
You've seen them around, yeah, I'm sure you have. I look pretty cool, I have to admit. And no, she was clearly impressed.
You don't think that you just look sarcastic?
I don't. I actually think it, it fitted. It looked well on me. It suited me, actually. And it certainly had a positive impact on Anushka, so fair play to that.
Without the turban, her head wouldn't have been turned?
Perhaps not. Perhaps it was the show of humility, the show of wanting to indulge in another culture, albeit for an hour or two.
Yeah.
You know, it's quite an attractive trait in a person, I would suggest.
Well, I mean, it's either attractive or it's downright desperate, isn't it?
Well, it's certainly not desperate because, as you know, I'm an imaginative chap and I like to experience different cultures, different things. And so that's the motivation for actually going to visit these different temples. I wasn't going out on the pool.
Well, that's what it seems like to me, because last week you were banging on about how beautiful the Hindu girls were.
Well, they were.
This week you're banging on about how beautiful the Rushi is.
Nushi?
Nushi, how beautiful Nushi is.
Well, it's just a happy...
This is just you to sate your prickly desires, isn't it?
Not entirely. It's just a happy consequence.
You make this out. This is absolutely outrageous, Nathaniel. You're making this out as if it's some kind of spiritual quest, when really all it's about is you sinking your plums.
No, it's not about me sinking my plums at all. You're vastly exaggerating. As I say, it's a happy consequence. I'm doing this thing out of some interest to myself, hopefully some interest to the listeners, and even a little bit of interest to you. It's just good life experience, Richard, that's all, and some good positive outcomes have come from that, and what's wrong with that?
Any food?
Yes, there was. That's the similarity with the Hindus.
Yeah.
He offered the prasad afterwards, and that's just a completely informal event where people get together, socially chat, and enjoy food together after the ceremony is finished.
Any alcohol?
Of course not, no. Alcohol is strictly forbidden.
Oh, I've been to a Sikh wedding, Nathaniel, and I'll tell you what, there was lots of alcohol there.
Well, that's an entirely different phenomenon. You know,
right.
people at the wedding, people at the temple, completely different things.
Oh, so yeah, I suppose I can see that.
That's just you trying to tar people with the same bush again.
Well, I'm just trying to turn your head in the correct direction, because it seems to me like you're being brainwashed.
Well, maybe I am being brainwashed, but I'm allowing myself to be brainwashed, Richard. I'm not the sort of person that would just be overcome by anything. It would have to really appeal. And
that is true, because you never listen to a bloody word I say.
Yeah, thank goodness for that.
So you're not one to get bullied, are you?
No, certainly not. I've got my own mind, and when certain things appeal, they appeal. And I have to say, the Sikh religion certainly appeals at this point, and it's not just for the lovely girl that I've met.
But last week you said that you thought you'd found your religion then, and that was just whatever religion, whatever temple you've been to last. That's your chosen religion?
No, not at all. That just shows how open-minded I am. It would have been understandable, would it not, if I'd have gone to that Hindu temple and said, yes, this is for me, put all your cards on the table, become a Hindu, and I've missed out on this wonderful experience.
What about are you going to go to a Satanist altar of sacrifice?
Well, I don't know if Satanists have their own temples, but if they do, I shall be paying a visit, no doubt.
Will you?
Yeah, absolutely. I want the whole spectrum of what faiths and religions mean, I'm not in it just to, examine certain ones. I want the whole picture.
So you'd be prepared to stand in a room with a pentagram on the floor while they slit the throat of a goat, its blood gushes over the splayed thighs of a virgin. You'd be okay with that?
I wouldn't be okay with it, Richard, but out of a mark of respect for the faith, I would stay.
You've got some funny ideas, Nathaniel.
But I'm half as funny as yours.
You've got some funny ideas, and they're getting stranger by the week.
Well, I'm not averse to you finding my ideas strange. If you're
What else have you done?
Ideas strange, that'd be all right.
What else have you done besides cavort with Sikhs?
I did want to expand a little bit more, but you
Oh, go on. No, go on.
Because there is a Christian element to it, Richard.
I'm sorry, Nathaniel. I did say at the beginning that I wouldn't interject, didn't I?
Yeah, and you completely lied, didn't you?
No, I didn't lie. I said I'd try not to interject, so I'll try again. Right, go on.
I'm trying very hard.
Go on. I won't interject.
Okay, thank you. There's a Christian element to it, in the form of singing. I mean, obviously the word hymns, but things called curtains and no, not pronounced that right. Sorry, Sikh community, kirtans and mantras. Very hypnotic, very devotional, quite beautiful.
I've heard the word mantra
before,
and that kind of brings to mind hippies in a field.
Which is an all-inclusive term, yeah, absolutely. Obviously, other aspects of humanity are familiar with the word mantra, but it's a particular and relevant part of the Sikh faith. There are Islamic similarities as well in the physical movement, even more intense actually. Lots and lots of bending down and touching the forehead to the floor to show reverence and humility.
Now the Pope used to do that, didn't he? Pope John Paul.
I don't know what goes on in the Catholic Church.
Yes, he used to do that. So when he'd get off the plane, and whatever country the plane touched down in, first thing he would do would be to bend down and place his brow against the concrete.
Right.
I thought it was very peculiar.
Not really. I mean, it just showed that there was a common strand through different faiths, which is rather encouraging, I have to say.
Is it a mark of respect?
A mark of respect, absolutely.
Right.
You don't seem to be totally against that phenomenon.
Oh, it's hard to get upset about an old bloke just bending down and touching his forehead against the floor. It's hard to get upset about that. I can try if you want me to.
No, I'm happy to hear you in an accepting way. It's just that I'd have thought you, with your ardent Christian views, you would want it done your way and no one else's.
Well, whilst I'm not a Catholic, I do feel a certain kinship with Catholics.
Yes.
Because, we're cut from similar cloth.
Yes, indeed.
So if it's good enough for their great leader, then who am I to argue? I'm just an insignificant speck. I could barely bother to breathe at the moment, Nathaniel, so I'm not going to get all bent out of shape about some bloody prick in a turban bending over.
Well, I was about to say that, are you aware how humble you sounded, but then you've just gone back on that. Never mind. So I'm done, Richard. I'm done. You can talk as much as you want for a while now.
Well, I've got nothing to say. The pointlessness of everything is almost overwhelming me, and it's actually been made worse by the hideousness of your week.